Good day, and this is your coach Carlex. Welcome to this video lesson. For this lesson, I am going to teach you or to show you how to navigate or to create databases and tables using MS SQL Server. So, from your theory of database, as we know, you have been familiarized with with MySQL. Now we're going to the familiarization. This video is about mostly about familiarization and navigation and creation of tables and databases in MS SQL Server. So I believe by this time you have already installed your MS SQL Server 2012 on your PCs. So let's start. So you just have to look for the SQL Server Management Studio and then wait for it to load. Okay, so it might be slower on your PC if it is the first. It depends on the resources that you have. If it is your first time to open it, it might take longer than usual. But if it is, if you already open it prior to this, it will load faster. Now, for this one, for the login credentials, you don't need to worry about this if it is your personal PC that you're using right now, because otherwise, I mean, unless you have a PC from your, it is a PC or it is a workstation on your office, on your, it's a workstation, it's a network PC, then you actually have a problem when you have to look or you have to reconfigure that based on the network settings. But if it is your PC, there's no if it is your personal computer, there's no problem with this. The one that will be generated once you open this, once you open your management studio, the credentials that you will see automatically generated, you're not going you no longer have you are not going to change it. You just have to click to connect, and you have to look for this icon. As you see the signal green, or the play that has a green color, it means that you are connected to your server. If it is red, obviously it's not connected. You have to see this one in order to create databases and tables. If you have MySQL installed on your PC, you have to disable the ports there, because it might result, or it might cause a problem when it comes to Microsoft SQL Server. So it could be either the MySQL would have problems, or Microsoft or the MS SQL will have the problems if it is if your MySQL and MS SQL are both installed on your PC. So now let's check on and create. As you can see, this is basically the IDE, or the interface of Microsoft SQL Server Management. So as you can see, it's more on um, it's more user friendly compared to MySQL. Now I'm comparing it to MySQL command line, or the one that you're using with your theory of database, the one that the one that you're really coding for in order to create databases, a simple database, a simple tables. You have to create, or you have to code long lines and long syntax. It's a different one compared to this one. But if you're going to compare it into PHP my admin, of course it's a different interface. But this one, you'll see, in creating the database in the MySQL, you have to know the code, or you'd have to know the syntax for creating the database, like create database and then the database name. For this one, for MS SQL Server, you just have to click this one. You have the databases, and then you could actually double click it to see all, or to expand the other menu under the databases head. Now, in order to create a new database, you're just going to right click it, and then click the new, or choose the new database. Okay, that's easy. So you're just going to put the name here, the database name. So let's say for this one, say add base. So the owner, you can you're not going to change anything in that. You're just going to create the name, and then you click OK there. Okay, so once it's successfully executed, you will see the add base database. So this is your database. So in just simple as that, you have created your database. Now You wanted to create tables inside your database. Just click on this plus sign here to collapse or to expand the menu under your database. As you can see, you have the database diagrams there. You have the tables, views, synonyms, the programmability, the service broker, storage, and security. So now, you wanted to create, if you want to create tables under there, just like how you created a new database, you're going to right click tables and then you just select new table. Okay, so by this time you are actually creating your tables by putting the or by creating the columns inside your table. So let's say for this one, let's have the student number. The data type, you can actually choose for the data type varchar, and let's have the student name. So this is just text because there's no other characters suitable for name. Next you have so age, so this should be an integer. And then okay, let's see. Let's have another column, let's say address, and then you see the varchar there. Okay, so in order to save this, you just have to click the save button here. Now here's the difference when it comes to MySQL and MS SQL. In MySQL, the only way to edit or to alter your table is that you should know the syntax for it. It's alter table, the table name, and then what specifically change, specifically what type of changes you want to what you want to modify, or what specific part of the table you want to modify. But here in the in MySQL, you can actually do you cannot actually do do the what do you call this one, when you create your table, you have to make sure that in this creation of your table, you have to make sure that all of your columns here are the columns that you wanted to that you want on your table, because once you want to modify it or alter it, you have to uh, remember or you have to know the syntax for creating or for modifying your tables. So for this one, you have to save it and then you have to name your table. Okay, now if you want to so this under the tables, you will see your table there. And then you'll see your columns, keys, if you have identified a primary key or a foreign key, the constraints and the triggers and the indices. Okay, as I have said, please check on the video lesson about the indices on how to create. And then these are your columns, as you can see. Now you wanted to create or you wanted to insert data on your table. So there are two ways that you can do that. So first is to actually use the query window, wherein you are going to write the code for inserting data on your table. Let's say for example, insert into TBL student. So there's an IntelliSense for this one. As you can see, it was the table name was already detected. Now let's insert the student number, single code, the student number, let's say S001. Okay, so as you can see, there's a red line, curly line below whatever you're typing. It indicates the error. If you have an error, obviously it will cause to have it will have a red curly line below your syntax. Next is the student name, let's say my name, and then next you have the age. So when you declare the data type integer for a column, that means it's a number, so the only acceptable data for that is a number. Let's say this one. And then next is the address, so let's say Quezon City. So if you want to add another one, oh, you see there's an error because I forgot to write in code. Okay, so as you can see, there's no error na because there's no curly red lines below that. For the curly red lines, it means it's an syntax error. For the blue one, it's not. The syntax that you're actually creating is not part of the library of MS SQL Server. It's not part of the SQL standard that MS has. So if it is a blue curly line, but if it is a red line, it's a syntax error. You have to change the syntax itself. So there's no problem with the functions or the codes that you're actually writing. If it is a curly line, it's the syntax or it's the way that you write your code. Now, in order to execute this, you can click the execute or the F5, or just click the execute. So as you can see here, one row is affected. Now, be careful or be mindful with when it comes in clicking or in executing your syntax, because you have to execute it only once. You can only click it once. Once you click it for the second time, it could either cause an error or not. It could cause an error if you have a primary key, because it will be detected. It will have a duplicate entry. But if it is not, if there's no primary key, if there's no primary key, like this one, we created a table with no primary key. Well, if you click execute here for multiple times, it will cause your table to have a lot of records with the same data. Okay, so let's see. Let's say for example this one. You have to select records from oh, sorry, from TBL student. Okay, so you can see. Okay, and then F5 or execute. As you can see, the record was successfully inserted in your table. Now, if I'm going to click execute here once again, it will actually insert a new record but with the same data. So let's say for example one, I click it, another one. Oh, as you can see, yeah, and then click, and then click, and then click, and then if we execute this one, as you can see, we have entered 5 multiple records but with the same data. So that's what you have to remember or to be mindful of when it comes to executing your syntax, because it may cause duplicate records if you have no primary key identified upon creation of your tables. Now, the other way to insert tables, to insert data, is to right click the table, your table, sorry, right click your table and then they edit the top 200, and this one you can actually enter your name. You can directly enter the data. So let's say 24, and then let's say Caloocan. Okay, so that's the other way. If you want to have a hard-coded one, you can resort to the syntax creation. But if you want an easier way, you can do this. Now, when it comes to deleting the record, you can actually delete this. We cannot actually delete this. Okay, this one. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, this one, it cannot delete your data because you have your same you have the same data. So the database or the syntax, or actually the it doesn't allow you to delete this record because it has a multiple. There are other records that says it has the same data with the one that you're deleting, so it is not permitted. Now, however, let's try to delete it manually. Let's say delete from TBL student where student number is equal. Okay, what's wrong with the student number? Student number is equal to S001, right? 0001. Okay, so let's try this one. Execute that. Okay, you see, so there are some cases like this one when we tried to delete it manually, or when we tried to delete it the easier way around here, when we can see, just click this one, it causes an error. There's an error, right? You were able to see that one. Now once I tried this is a code, the syntax for deleting a record, it went successfully, it was executed successfully. So sometimes there are some cases like that, so it's better that you know the hard code one or the codes, and so that you can have a lot of options or in navigating and manipulating your data. So that's it. Basically, what you know on the syntax on MySQL can be applied here in MS SQL Server. Actually, by the way, before I end this, I forgot. You can actually do this, do the series of a series of instructions or series of SQL syntax here. Let's say, for example, you insert an data. Let's say insert into TBL student, and then values, and then you insert, let's say, S002, and then let's say Xander Phillips, and then I'd say the age is, oh no, 24, and Quezon City. Next, and then okay, and then below that, or below your insert statement, you can actually create another one. Let's say select records from TBL student. So as you can see, there are two different syntax here, but this one doesn't is not. You cannot do this actually on MySQL. You cannot do this on MySQL, but here in MS SQL, this is one of the advantages of MySQL, of MS SQL, is that you can actually create, or you can actually write all your syntax and execute it into one execution, in just one execution, like this one. I'm going to execute this one. As you can see, I have inserted data, and then it automatically select, or it executed the select statement here. As you can see, right, I have inserted, and then after that, after the data was inserted, the select statement was executed, and the record was displayed, right? So you can actually do that. You can actually have multiple select statements here. You can do this, and then you have another one that says select student name from TBL student. As you can see, there are two results here. So this is the first one. This is the resulting table of select records from TBL student, and this one is the resulting record from the, or select resulting table from the select student name from TBL student syntax. Let's say, for example, you have select age from age, address from TBL student. Now there's an error with the address because maybe I have used it. Okay. No, there's no error. Okay. So if you execute it, you will see three different tables that was three resulting tables, as you can see. So the first one, this one is for this, and then this one is for this one, for this syntax, and then this one is for the syntax. So that's the beauty of SQL, or the studio management of SQL Server 2012. Okay, so after you can actually recheck automatically your record. If, let's say, for example, if you remember on your MySQL, you have to key in or type in all your syntax, and then afterwards you have to type in also your select statement to check whether your syntax was were successfully executed. But in this one, you can actually write all your syntax in whatever sequence you want, and then in just one execution, all of those syntax will be executed. So that's all for this video lesson. Thank you for watching. I hope you learn a little, or I mean something, or I hope you learned. Okay. Thank you for watching and have a good day.